Hello guys, in this tutorial we will deploy Apache web server on Ubuntu Server 20.04 with Virtualbox. After the final configuration, we install WordPress to demonstrate how the web server works. This information will be useful for you if your possible client does not want to pay for third-party hosting, but wants one of his computers to host, and the site is displayed on the internet by port forwarding on his router and assigning domain name to an external IP address. So what you will need to work with this tutorial. The first thing, you need to upload Ubuntu Server from official website. So you need to go to ubuntu.com, push download, get Ubuntu Server, and we need option 2 in our lesson. So you need to download Ubuntu Server 20.04 long-term support. So the other thing that we need is download Virtualbox. So go to virtualbox.org, push downloads, and choose your operating system and download Virtualbox. In this lesson I will use Windows 10. So the next part, you need to download PuTTY. So go to PuTTY.org, and the last thing, you need to download Winstp. We need to use it for manage migration and edit files from Windows to Ubuntu Server. So let's get down to business, guys. So, how to deploy a web server to Linux? According to statistics, more than 70% of all sites work on servers on which a Linux distribution is installed. There are a lot of Linux distributions, CentOS and Ubuntu and Debian and so on and so on. There is a big number of them. Ubuntu is the most beloved Linux distribution by everyone, and Ubuntu has a big support from users, a lot of forums, and if suddenly there are any questions, then most likely these problems have already been solved. You only need to go to Google and find an answer. That's why Ubuntu is so popular, and we will install it today. So let's start the Virtualbox and get started. Well, we create the new virtual machine. We call it Ubuntu Server. We need type Linux and version Ubuntu 64-bit. Push next. Well, I have a computer with 32 gigabytes RAM. Well, let's allocate 1 gigabyte. Create. Next. Dynamically allocated. Well, we allocate 10 gigs for it. Create. So, virtual machine created. We will need the computer to be connected to the network. So we select settings and network and bridged adapter. So we have virtual machine on the local network of your home network, and get an IP address, and you can log into this web server from any computer on your home network. To install Ubuntu, we need to insert the installation disk. So go to storage, controller, and choose disk file. I already uploaded Ubuntu 20.04, open, and push OK. So I recommend you use 20 versions of Ubuntu, because it will still be supported for a long time. I will say a couple more words about Ubuntu. The system is really good. It ranks first in the list of leaders for use on servers, which confirms even that the Wikipedia project uses Ubuntu as a server. New versions are released every 6 months, but there are versions called LTS, long-term support, which means that it is supported for 5 years from the time of release. This is the version we use in our video. So let's start our machine, virtual machine. Start. Need to wait a few seconds before it starts. Well, that's good. We produce the standard installation. We do not change anything. But we stay on one of steps. So we choose English. Done. Done. We don't need proxy address. Done. Let it be this mirror address. So I use entire disk. Yes, done. Done. Continue. Well, here I use the name of my channel, Allure, and username the same. So everything is correct. Done. Well, and this is the main step of our installation. We need to use and install Open SSH Server. So, well, we use SSH secure shell. This is the network protocol and application layer that allows remotely manage operating system. We need SSH for our Winstp free FTP client. We need to use it in future after the installation of our Ubuntu server. So, done on this step. And down here. Well, I will stop the video now. After the installation is complete, we will continue. Well, installation completed. And well, and before we begin, I would like to talk about the main commands in the Ubuntu server. So I'll push here reboot now, and sudo. Sudo is used if you want to execute a command on the super user rights, but you are currently authorized on the regular user, not under a root. If you use this command, you will be asked for a password from root. Well, if config, we need this command to check which IP address our virtual machine has received. So, what's going on? Okay. Wait a little bit till our Virtualbox will reboot. So, and we will need to install new programs as we configure our web server. To do this, use the apt-get command. This command is also used to update the system. So, what's going on with our... Oh, that's okay. So, allure and... Oh. Well, that's great. We connected, and we need to try our first command, ifconfig. Well, we need to install nettools. Sudo apt install net tools, and of course our password. That's great. Try it once more. Well, great. Now we know our IP address. Well, let's go to SSH, and we need to use the program PuTTY. So go to PuTTY, and I use our IP address 192.168 and 1 and well, that's great, and we need to change our appearance a little bit. I need 18 the size of our font. It's better for you to see what I will do on the screen. So, and we need to connect through SSH. I will leave as default the port 22. Well, let's try it out. So yes, and great. Log in here. Well, everything is correct. Well, and we need to set up root rights for Ubuntu. The best way to do it, why we need it? We need, after some actions, we need to connect to our Ubuntu server using Winstp. And for Winstp program, we need root rights. Because we don't need to write any passwords for root when we upload new files. So the fastest way to do it, just use command sed. So let's do it. Sudo sed -e permit root login. Prohibit password. Well, and permit root login. Say yes. And here and etc. SSH SSHD config. Well, let's try it. Password, yes, everything is correct, and we need to restart our SSH service. So sudo systemctl restart SSH. Well, everything is great. Well, after installing Ubuntu, I recommend you to update your system. So use apt-get update and apt-get upgrade. But now we will not need to do this because this is a long process. Well, and consider the ls and cd commands. Well, ls I write it here, we need it. So ls show files and folders at the directory. And cd is used to change directories. It's not a necessary command, I don't mention it here. So well, the next slide is structure of Linux file system. So let's see what is in the root folder by using ls command. ls, well, and we see in here all the files in this folder, in this main folder. In our work we need this folder, etc. It is configuration files. A little bit we need var, variable files. And you can use this structure in your work because for other Linux devices, or not devices, distributions, all of this folder structure is the same. So that's great, and let's try to use our IP address in the browser. So I go to my Google Chrome and let's ifconfig. We already know this command. Well, and I just copy our IP address and push it here. Well, nothing is happened here because we need to install our Apache web server. So let's go to party and type sudo apt-get install Apache 2. Yes. And we see in here our homepage of Apache server soon. So let's wait a few seconds. And let's try it out. Yes, everything is working great. Apache to Ubuntu default page, it works. But people are not used to driving IP addresses in the browser to access some site, some websites. Well, let's talk about what a DNS server is. Let's come back to our presentation. Well, I need to say a couple of words about domain name system. Domain name system is a computer distributed system for obtaining domain information, most often used to obtain IP addresses by hostname. Well, this system gives us the possibility to use some words instead of using IP addresses. So, to give some name to our IP address, I need to go to my presentation and copy this path. Well, let's go to our total commander and I just paste it here. Well, and here we need to use our hosts file. Well, I just copy our IP address, paste it in here, just IP address, and let it be site 1. Well, I save it. And let's check it out. Site 1. Well, everything is working great. And maybe we need to use other site, site 2, and try it out in the next step. Everything is working great too. Well, now we don't need our hosts file. Well, now let's start creating directories for each website separately. Well, in order to make the web server can read these files and give them away, we will need to configure access rights through the chmod command. What about chmod command? Well, this is two commands in the end of this slide. Cholm allows you to change the user and or group or ownership of a file, directory or symbolic link. And chmod, it is used to change the access permissions of files and directories. And we need both these commands now. So we start with creating some directory for our site 1. I do the preparation for site 1, and if you like, you can do the preparation for site 2. Well, sudo mkdir. This command make directory by the path, and var 3w site 1. Let's check it out by ls command. ls var 3w, and as you can see, site 1 is already there. So now we assign rights 755. It allows us to change the access permission to 755, and after that we need to use chown command to own our folder. So let's start sudo chmod -r 755 var 3w and site 1, and the other command chown -r, and here we allow all permissions for allure and allure for all the 3w folder. Everything is correct, as I can see, so that's great. Well, after entering commands, we now own these folders and can move, modify and delete them as needed. Well, now, for example, let's create a simple site in the site 1 folder. I use for this default text editor Nano. Well, I mentioned this on this slide. So let's start Nano var 3w site 1 and index html. Well, I don't want to waste your time. I just type it here, doctype HTML structure, and go to this website, copy and paste it here, and change some text. Well, let it be site 1 here, and the same here. So everything is correct. Control X, yes, that's great. Well, and let's try it out. Let's check, go to the browser, and so our site is not running. Virtual hosts must be configured in Apache. Well, so Apache 2 files and folders. We need to enable our virtual host, set it up, this virtual host for site 1, and enable virtual hosts. It gives us the rights to connect to our file index.html, and it for do it, we need to use command cp. We need to copy files from the default conf to our new site 1 conf. So all of these files take place on the folder sites available. So this directory contains files of settings for virtual hosts. So let's go to our body. Well, we need to copy our default conf file, give the new name to it. So let's do it sudo cp -p etc. Apache 2 sites available, oh I'm sorry, sites available 30 default.conf etc. Apache 2 sites available site1.conf. It would be the new name for this settings file. So let's check it out. Everything is great. Well, now we need to edit it, and we use nano for it. Sudo nano etc. Apache 2 sites available site1.conf. Well, in here we need to delete our comment and delete 3wexample.com and type here site1, and here we need to change HTML to site1 and oh I'm sorry, so that's great. Well, that's all, and Ctrl X, yes, so great. And now we need to enable virtual host. So type sudo, well, all of these comments you can see on my slide. A to enable site, this will enable virtual hosts for this site. So sudo a to n site, and the name of the site, site1. So enabling site1, and we need to restart our Apache web server. So type sudo service Apache 2 restart. Well, and let's go to our browser and check it out. So everything is great. We can see the results site1 and the title site1. Well, the next what we need to do is install PHP, and after that we will do the preparation for setting up the WordPress CMS on our Apache web server. But let's start with the small step, just install PHP. So I'll go to the body and type sudo apt get install PHP. Yes. Well, we need to wait a little bit before PHP and its installation. So great. And let's check our PHP work or not. So let's create the file test.php in the folder site1. So we type nano var 3w site1 and test PHP. So great. And here I just write a little bit code, PHP code. So echo center and PHP work and close our tag. So may put some semicolon here. Well, Control X, yes, great. And let's check it out, our test PHP. It is work or not. Great, PHP work. So the next step, what we need to do for WordPress website, we need to install Phpmyadmin and Maria database, and I will start with Maria database. So Maria database is the branch from Control Systems database MySQL, and we need to install MariaDB server and MariaDB client. So let's do it. Go to our body and type sudo apt-get install MariaDB server and MariaDB client. Well, yes. We need to wait a little bit time. And after the installation has been completed, we need to type the command sudo mysql secure installation. This is running MySQL server configuration. And after that, we try to connect to MySQL server. and if we have some troubles with it, we will solve it. Oh well, we need to wait a little bit time before MariaDB will totally install on our Ubuntu server. Well, as I already said, we need to type sudo and MySQL secure and installation. Well, I don't need to change the root password. Let it be the old root password. Well, yes, remove. No. Disallow root login remotely. No. Yes. Oh, we need to remove it. Well, yes. Well, and let's try to connect to our database using the command MySQL -u root -p. So access denied for user root localhost. Such an error is valid only for MariaDB. In MySQL, such an error would not have occurred. So we need to solve this error. Well, I have some... Oh, sorry. Some preparation for it. Well, we need to go to root mode, use sudo -e, and here we need to use the command echo update user set plugin where user is equal to root semicolon flush semicolon MySQL -u root -p MySQL, and let's try it. So we are in here into the our MariaDB. So we need to exit from here. So exit from here and exit from root mode. And try this command again So something went wrong. So let's try to just copy this. Well, we need to go sudo -e and just push this command here. That's great. And exit from here. So looks like everything's correct, but we need to go to the next step. So sudo. We need to install our Phpmyadmin. Opt get. And php and best string. So install it. Yes. So we need to use Apache 2 here. Okay. Well, after the installation will be completed, we try to access to our Phpmyadmin. If something went wrong, we try to solve these problems. Well, okay. Oh, yes. So everything is great. Let's check it out here. Well, Phpmyadmin. Oh, great. So let's go to root. Oh, root and well, let's try to access the MariaDB once again. So sudo MySQL secure installation. So yes. 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 Well, great. And well, we connect to database. Well, something was wrong in our settings, so we corrected, and now we need to exit from it and try to connect to our database through our Phpmyadmin. So I refresh our page, go to root. So everything is great, everything's correct. We have access to our Phpmyadmin. Well, and what we need to do now? I need to create a new database. Let it be site1 and UTF-8. UTF-8 general C create. So our new database. Well, what we need to do now? We need to go to WordPress. WordPress.org. Well, download. Yes, here. And download WordPress. Well, we need to wait a little bit, and before it is upload complete, we need to start our Winstp client. So use okay, I don't need a new version, so use the SCP here, and our host name, well, here ifconfig, and we need our IP address. Sorry, IP address from here. Go to Winstp and the username root. We already have done all the preparation for root user. If you do it with me, you already know that for this program we need root rights and password, of course. So let's log in here. Yes. Well, something went wrong. So well, we need the root rights for it, but we don't have it. So what's going on? Oh, WordPress, we already have the WordPress file, but something Maybe if I try just root. So something strange. So everything is great, but Winstp don't want to give us the access. So let's try to check our permissions. So nano, well, sudo nano, etc. SSH, SSHD, and config. Maybe I forget to do something here. So we need string permit root login. Yes, I forgot to do this here. Well, prohibit password to permit root login. Yes. Well, something went wrong with our command set, which we use in the start of our work, but you can do this. So let's try to save it, and we need to restart our SSH service. So sudo restart. Oh, I'm sorry. Sudo systemctl and restart SSH. So, and then let's try to do it once more. Well, new session, LCP, paste, root, login. So no, maybe I need to close it. Well, let's try to permit root login, yes. So everything is correct, but so systemctl restart SSH. Well, let's try it once more. Well, everything is correct. Root and So let's reboot our system for now. Okay. Well, to continue our work, we need the Winstp with root rights, but something went wrong and we can't do the access to our SSH. So let's try to reboot our system. So Ubuntu login. And try it once more. Well, I need a few seconds to understand what's wrong here, and when I find the mistake, I will continue. So I resolved the problem with Winstp, and I want to show you how I do it. So as I mentioned before, at the start of our lesson, we need to change something in the sshd config file. So I just sudo nano, type sudo nano, etc. ssh sshd config. So and our password, of course. So, and we need to change the string. So delete the comment here and change the default meaning of this to yes. That's all. We save it and exit. Well, the step 2, we need to restart our SSH. So sudo systemctl restart SSH. So great. And step 3, I thought that these steps are unnecessary, but we have this mistake: permission denied, please try again. So, and we need to set up the new password for root user. Well, this is the important step, and we need to go through it. So sudo password and great. Well, and the final step, we need to check our connection. Well, can the other devices or the other programs have connection with our Ubuntu server? Well, SSH root Ubuntu the name of our server in this case. So, and let's try. Well, everything is great. We have an access. So exit from here. And I want to my connection through my Winstp, and we need to if config command and our IP address here. So here root user and our password, and everything must be great. So that's great. Now we need to go to var 3w site. I already delete our index.html and test PHP. We don't need it anymore. So what do we need to do now? We need to use WordPress. Yes. Well, let it be the folder. Oh. Extract here, and I need all of these files. Let it be in this folder. So close it. Well, I need to go to disk C and folder WordPress, and all of these files I need to copy to our folder site1. Well, great. Let's check it in our browser. So that's good. Site1. Well, that's good. That's good. And let's go step by step and install our WordPress. So I already have created my database. So let's go. Database name site1. Username allure. Password the same. That's great. I'll submit. Oh, I'm sorry, root. Password here. Well, now we need to use our command sudo nano etc 3w site1, and in here we need to add the new WordPress config.php file. Am I right? Sorry, don't. Oh, var. Oh, I'm sorry. So, a little mistake here. var 3w site 1 and WordPress config.php. Well, that's great. Let's try it out. And we need to copy and paste all of the content of this in our file. Just copy and paste. So exit. Yes, great. So let's run the installation. That's good. So let it be site 1, user allure, password. Well, I don't need any password here, or just confirm use of weak password. Discourage search engines from indexing this site. Well, and let it be allure admin.com. So install WordPress. Okay, login. Login. Well, we need to wait a little bit time. So great. Everything is working great, and we have our website. So, guys, we have done a great work, and that's all for today. Do not forget to subscribe to my channel and click bell icon to receive notifications of new videos that are released on the channel. Goodbye, guys. See you in the next videos.